Following the critical acclaim of Hitman Blood Money, Absolution didn't really hit the mark for most people. Diverting away from the previous formula in the Hitman franchise, Absolution focused more on linear levels with a problematic disguise system to boot. Luckily, however, after much confusion around its release structure, the new Hitman is back to form with the largest levels in the franchise and countless amounts of ways to deal with your targets. And with a seemingly weekly content drop, this game will surely take you for a ride. The new Hitman is split into 4 different modes. Firstly is the main story missions, which generally task you with completing a hit on one or more targets and or completing a secondary objective, like the second mission Sapienza's biolab sequence, where you have to instead destroy a piece of evidence as well as your normal assassination targets. The second mode is called an Ascension, where you have to do a mission 5 times, but each consecutive completion, however, introduces a new objective or modifier, such as an only using a certain disguise or hiding all the bodies within 90 seconds. Thirdly are the elusive targets. These are limited time missions where you only have one chance to take out your target and are ranked against your friends. These also have new lines of dialogue to keep things fresh. Lastly is a mode returning from Absolution where users can make their own missions. They set parameters such as a disguise or a weapon. They then have to complete the hit themselves. You then attempt to beat the creator's own score and time, which is then also added to a leaderboard of that contract. What all this means is that Hitman has plenty of content to keep you going as long as you don't mind that it all occurs on the same maps. But learning as much as you can about each of these intricately designed maps is what Hitman is all about. The release schedule for Hitman is centered around the idea of monthly episodes. There will be 7 in total, with 6 featuring full new locations. However, the next one is a strange mid-season break where they're instead introducing new ideas into 2 of the pre-existing levels. For the space in between these episodes, the developers scatter a couple new missions, either being elusive targets or the Ascension missions to keep you going if the user-generated content isn't enough. When the game was originally released, you were given 2 training missions and 1 main mission, Paris, which involves a large multi-story fashion show, which can currently be bought alone as a starter pack if you're unsure about committing to the full game. But now with the release of Sapienza, which is a full Italian town, and Marrakesh, which is a Moroccan city where a political uprising is occurring outside a Swiss embassy. This means that Hitman is feeling more and more like a complete product, and as a fan of the series, I feel safe in knowing that my purchase has been smart so far, and knowing that more maps are coming in the future only gets me excited, because in the new Hitman, each map feels distinct. Paris is a very tightly packed affair, dense with opportunities. Sapienza is sprawling with many interesting locations and assassination opportunities, and Marrakesh kind of falls in between as it's more horizontal like Sapienza, but features a dense population in its crowded marketplace. You see, each map is impressive in its own way. The designers have obviously had a ball trying to stuff in as many interesting assassination opportunities as they could. On Paris, I dropped a lighting rig onto the main target as he walked down the fashion strip. Sapienza featured me placing an explosive golf ball on my target's tee that he then proceeded to hit with a significant amount of force, leading to his accidental demise. And Marrakesh, where I killed my target by cutting the wire on a light, which was touching a handlebar, which my target then grabbed onto, electrifying himself. Each level is full of stuff like this, and it's always fun completing them, because you have the option when you start the game to have opportunities turned on. I would recommend turning this to minimal, where the game will only notify you of what assassinations opportunities there are, but won't tell you how to complete them like in the full mode. The core progression of a Hitman mission begins with you deciding on where you're going to spawn in and what gear you're going to bring with you. This involves a concealed weapon, generally a pistol, and 2 pieces of gear like a coin to distract people or a lockpick to get you past the occasional locked door. You are then able to select a secret drop location where you can receive a large weapon such as a sniper rifle. However, these can be seen on your character, meaning you can be recognised in most disguises. You then set off on your way, scoping out your target, where they go, what opportunities await you. Generally, however, You will want to look for a new disguise, which will allow you access into higher security areas. The new disguise system works much better than that of Absolution as well. You will now only be able to be detected wearing a disguise by either those of a very high rank, such as the target itself, or some highlighted senior workers of your own disguise. For example, you can dress as a chef, but the head chef can detect you whilst the other workers cannot, different to how it worked in Absolution. These new mechanics are in reference to the older games, but modernising and improving on them, fixing the ones that didn't work in Absolution. Some things that don't sit well with me, however, one thing is perhaps the arrangement of these levels should have been thought out a little more before launch. Hitman's first real level is Paris, which, as I said, is very dense both horizontally and vertically, requiring you to have a lot of knowledge about how the disguise system works and some of the quirks in the AI to successfully complete, which seems rough if you're new to the series. Giving you Sapienza instead, which is a lot more spread out but still challenging, in that sense that is more focused on getting you creative in your decisions instead of which uniform you're wearing and not getting patted down by guards. Ultimately, however, Hitman is a surprise. Its wishy-washy marketing leading up to the game's release in terms of its final episodic form hurt it somewhat, but the game has been proven to be worth the wait. Every time a new piece of content is added to the game, I have no problems jumping back into it, just to see where it will take me next.